I'm really nervous, just so you know. So my name's Abby, and Jackie, that was beautiful. I feel like a lot of yours was from the heart, and I'm someone who's so regimented that I'll probably trail off, but that was beautiful. So I'm not going to get into specifics about Melody that much because it's been almost 8 years, and my journey's been pretty, it's been a lot. So I wanted to I'm a former English teacher, and I wanted to draw on the concept of light versus dark, especially being the wave of light tonight. And if I go fast, please let me know. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Abby, and I was asked to speak tonight in the Remembrance of Babies Born Silent ceremony. It's an honor to be here, and I'm proud to stand beside many other families who found light in the aftermath of profound darkness. For those who may not know, the Global Wave of Light is held every October 15th. You may not know, the Global Wave of Light is held every October 15th as an annual observance to honor and remember babies who have died during pregnancy, childbirth, or infancy. This day serves as a global moment of remembrance for families and individuals who've experienced the loss of a child. Participants around the world light candles at 7 o'clock p.m. in their time zone and create a wave of light that symbolizes love, support, and remembrance. The Global Wave of Light is an opportunity to provide comfort, raise awareness about pregnancy and infant loss, and break the silence surrounding this often deeply personal and emotional experience. It was 7 years ago that my husband, Matt, and I participated in our first Wave of Light memorial. We were just shy of our 5-month grief mark in raw mourning of the unexpected death of our first baby, Melody. In anticipation for the event, our coffee table was covered with anything and everything we could do to represent Melody. Our framed picture, the silver moon urn with her ashes, a little stuffed giraffe I couldn't remove from her nursery, a purple onesie that said "My Daddy Loves Guitar," and my silver ring with a treble clef wrapped around the band. At 7 o'clock, we lit 4 candles of various sizes, one for my husband, one for me, one for our dog Rudy, and one for Melody. The family that should have been, yet the family that still was. We watched as the candlelight stretched across the table and brought a gentle glow to an otherwise dark room. At the time, I couldn't appreciate the quiet beauty of the ceremony. I could only observe the glare of the fire reflecting against the glass frame and the tiny and perfect smile that my daughter was born with. While my husband and I held each other on our couch, I watched the obscured view of one of the only pictures I'd ever have of Melody. I watched and grew resentful that this candlelight had interfered with my darkness and with what I'd grown to feel normal and even familiar to me. What I hadn't known then about grief, what I hadn't truly understand, what I hadn't known then about grief, what I hadn't truly understood until I lived it, is how much I would come to welcome the darkness in those early months and years. Darkness became a blanket, heavy yet comforting. Darkness meant sadness, and sadness meant a connection to her, my very wanted, very loved little baby. I don't think I cried either time. Who was stillborn at 35 weeks. And if darkness and sadness meant loyalty to her memory, then light and happiness surely meant betrayal. I wasn't ready to be happy, and I didn't think I deserved to be happy without her. Sorry, everybody. Darkness like that had changed me. I was no longer the person to congratulate the pregnant woman behind me in the grocery store line, to beam at somebody else's ultrasound pictures, to listen to baby names, to feel genuine excitement for someone else's growing family. Instead, I deleted people off social media who were pregnant around the same time as I was. I snapped at my dear friend and colleague for simply mentioning baby showers around me. I stared at women with their cute baby bumps and was bitter that they would unlikely have their world shattered too. I took careful note of which people reached out, which people ghosted me, which people said hurtful things, and which people made our grief all about them. I punished my body through extreme exercise because this body was the only home my baby had known, yet it couldn't keep her safe. I obsessed about getting pregnant again, about having another baby, to the point where it consumed my life and nearly broke me with very early miscarriages. Even when, finally, a pregnancy progressed and I had the best care I could find, the darkness still covered me. Every appointment, I waited for the nurse or MFN to unsuccessfully find a heartbeat, take a deep breath, and say those words that triggered all of this in the first place. I'm sorry, but your baby has passed. When we brought our first living baby home, the light started to appear, meek and uncertain, but it was there. It was unfamiliar. and it was terrifying. I wanted to move forward and to share in all the first that we never had with Melody, but I was wary and distrustful. I wondered if the universe was going to punish me for finding happiness. I wondered even more if I deserved punishment because she wasn't here. And again, how could I be happy if she wasn't here? But still, the light grew, bit by bit, with each bittersweet milestone with our baby, with each time I laughed so loudly and genuinely until I wheezed, with each day that I didn't cry, with each pregnancy announcement that didn't sting, with each time a stranger pointed to my daughter and said, "Is she your first?" And I didn't feel totally compelled to unload the truth on them. And with each moment that I looked at myself in the mirror and saw a spark of something. Not my old self exactly, but something else. The light became familiar and soothing, even though I still didn't trust it. As the light intensified, the darkness remained a faithful companion. Life events, the pandemic, friendship and familial strains, career changes, another high-risk pregnancy and newborn baby, marriage dynamic shifts, and an overall sense of being completely lost made me hold on to my anger tighter. I grew increasingly bitter, hostile, and even resentful towards the baby that I grieved so deeply. In the quiet moments of my darkness, I secretly blamed Melody because my life had been so good before her death, and when she died, everything became messy, hard, and untenable. It was a long time before I said these thoughts out loud, before I showed the people I loved how dark my world had become. But, here's the thing about dark. Eventually your eyes adjust until you can see. And when that happens, your vision changes with your perspective. When that happens, you see the light that was born within the darkness, all the different parallels and juxtapositions, the way the light needs the dark and the dark needs the light, how one shift in shadows can reframe it all. Brené Brown once said, the dark does not destroy the light, it defines it. It is our fear of the dark that casts our joys into shadows. For so long, I associated Melody's death with darkness, but now I know that's too simple. Because from that deep grief, that sorrow that I could barely contain most days, grew deep joy. Because within darkness, that light shines so much brighter. Within grief, the moments of happiness feel earned and pure and true. The loss of innocence remained until wisdom, empathy, and kindness were found in its place. The sisters in grief, who one of them is back there and I love her deeply, the sisters in grief friends around whom it was okay to not be okay, grew into the women who cheered each other on when it was okay to be okay again. The sorrows that lead to purpose and acts of kindness in our name. A cuddle cough for the wonderful people at Beverly Hospital who we will always cherish. A cuddle cough for Beverly Hospital and for future babies who are stillborn. Over $3,000 for SIDS research, 8 days worth of meals for these beloved nurses, and brand new instruments for what would have been Melody's elementary schools. The end of my beloved teaching career, which transitioned into the beginning of a new path with a different purpose and a different sort of joy. The death of countless dreams and the birth of new ones. A stormy sky and the rainbow that tentatively appears above the clouds once the rain subsides. The guilt of being happy again, and the acceptance that happiness doesn't mean that you're healed. I miss Melody. Think about her every day, and I wonder all the time who she would be. As a 7.5-year-old, I will always light a candle for her on October 15th. None of that will change, no matter how much time has passed. I just carry it differently, dark and light, side-by-side companions. As I think about the countless candles that would be lit tonight, and the countless families who have been enveloped in the darkness of grief, all of you, I hope each person will be able to make peace between the dark and the light, and find that life can continue with joy and with sorrow in the space between.